all of us have privilege. We may have the privilege of having of knowing more people who are in decision-making positions. We may have the privilege of being born the ethnicity of the dominant power holders in our society. We may have inherited wealth. We may have had parents who took us throughout the world on no money at all, but we got to see many different cultures. We may have had, we may come from homes that were deeply embedded in community and church, which is a huge advantage for people's nervous systems, and a sense of coming out of warm community sustains us for the rest of our lives. So there are very many different ways in which we can have privilege, and our brains are themselves primed to not know that we have any privilege that we have. We believe so deeply as humans that everybody else's experience is just like ours, that we often don't even realize the ways in which we may be unconsciously, sort of, for me, Sarah-centered. I don't even know that I'm Sarah-centered because it's the only way that I've ever had to live. So part of what we'll be doing today is learning in depth about the different ways that our brains transform the different ways that our brains take us out of relationship, I think, is essentially what we need to know in order to move forward with this issue. And what I hope to do is to provide enough of an introduction that in the next series of calls, you'll be very well oriented and full of self-compassion and compassion for others, moving into this exploration, which can sometimes be quite painful and even horrifying as we learn about the ways that inequality in our world really impact our bodies and our brains and our minds. I wanted to begin here with this understanding that the more advantage people have, the better health they have. So the higher our socioeconomic status, the longer our health expectancy, and the more well-being we experience during our life expectancy, the more robust and resilient our health is. Now, we can have an advantage of wealth and socioeconomic advantage, which contributes to better health. Interestingly enough, we can also have the advantage of having had a very warm mother. If you've had a very warm mother, it completely counteracts the deleterious effects of poverty. So this is a beautiful thing to know, and it's particularly beautiful for us as nonviolent communication practitioners to know this. And the reason that it is important and very wonderful for us to know is that our brains as humans remain available to receiving and being changed by warmth all the way through our lives. So I could be 97 and I could be going to be dying tomorrow, and my brain would still respond and grow new neurons in response to being met with warmth and resonance. Resonance is a word I use that many of you are familiar with in the context of Susan Skye's work, of Robert Gonzalez's work, of the living energy of needs, of a sense that when we move into empathy, we start to, our voices come alive. So much like many of you, maybe like me, loved the cello. And the cello, when you think of the cello, you can think of that kind of the warm, resonant tones of the cello and how they vibrate almost in our body. Our voices do that as well when they are alive to being in warm relationship with one another. So we are transformed and changed by warmth throughout our lives, and everybody's health improves with warmth. Everybody's health is negatively impacted by contempt, and everybody's health improves with warmth. And so we as NVC practitioners have a tremendous and radical potential for helping this world be a better place at any moment.